Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. Today is February the 5th, 2021. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. I'm offended by selling. Don't FOMO on altcoins. Oh, that'll be a reoccurring theme throughout today's show, even though I don't know why people still FOMO on these altcoins. Anyway, it has been quite a week in Bitcoin, hasn't it? And in all of cryptocurrency. If you've got questions, we got some answers. We'll have to, you could do a super chat. You can type in BitcoinMeister. I'm sure these guys will want to answer your questions. So who do we got here? We got David here today. We got Daniel here today. We got John making his debut. And throughout, this has been like the week of the impulsive people. People telling me that that Dogecoin is the next Bitcoin, and that Elon Musk tweeted about it, so it must be totally awesome. So I would have started with all of that in mind. And we've got stimulus checks on the way. I guess people are spending their stimulus on Dogecoin. The normies think they're making some sort of economic statement by buying a Dogecoin. That's something that's going on. So let's read this quote here by Daniel Prince. Imagine it's 2045. You sit down for dinner with your family. Your 8-year-old granddaughter turns to you and says, "So why didn't you buy Bitcoin back in those days?" Good luck explaining that. Start with, "I was too lazy to pick up a book or listen to a podcast." Now, that last part, I was too lazy to pick up a book or listen to a podcast. That seems like that's been the theme of the week. I mean, people, they hear about WallStreetBets. That's the next big thing. I got to get in on this GameStop. I got to get in the next trend. It's Dogecoin. Dogecoin's going to the moon. They don't take time to actually watch a show about Bitcoin. They want these quick little sound bits. And yeah, there are going to be a lot of people regretting why they didn't buy a Bitcoin in 2045. And to tell your granddaughter, well, I was buying Dogecoin because I thought I put Elon Musk on a pedestal. I mean, that's not going to sound very good. So we'll start with Daniel Prince. How you doing?
Great, Adam. Thanks for having me back on the show, man. Great to be here. Thank you.
All right. So what do you think about this current week and what's been going on?
It's nuts, and to really underline it all, I think the bottom of the barrel of the Dogecoin disaster was when I tuned in to the MicroStrategy corporate day and started listening to the first interview, and Michael Saylor was interviewing Ross Stevens of NYDIG and I'm blanking on the name, his other fund. And this is the first time Ross had ever appeared publicly, and his interview was absolutely amazing. And you could see Michael Saylor's eyes bulging at some of the things he was saying, and I could tell Saylor was getting more bullish, like the most bullish bull whale out there already was getting more bullish whilst listening to Ross, and Stone Ridge was the other company. But in the chat, you had these monkeys coming in like, you got to buy Dogecoin. Dogecoin's the thing. Dogecoin's great. I'm like, who does that? Who is dumb enough to turn up and watch two of these, Titan professionals who are talking very calmly, very professionally, very deeply, very profoundly about Bitcoin and what is coming around the corner? Ross said 25 billion on their order book this year. He's like, this isn't a guess. This is what I know. This is what is coming. And you've still got these monkeys in the chat going on about Doge. And I had to close the chat down so I could pay attention to the interview. And it's just, I feel really bad for these guys that are falling for it. It's happened before, as we know, the 2017 run-up and all of the shitcoinery and scammery. Just look into Doge just a little bit and you see it's a joke. And just come to the orange coin and listen to a podcast or read an article or listen to a book just put in 1 or 2 hours of work a week and you'll realize that Bitcoin is intuitive.
Now, I'm so glad you brought up Michael Saylor's conference, because who are the type of people that were there? I mean, we're talking like C-level type of individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So dudes that are already pretty financially well off. I mean, knowledgeable. And so we've got those guys, sitting down for a calm educational discussion, and you just contrast this with this impulsiveness, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's just, it's people cry about the rich getting richer, but dudes, they're taking the time. Anyone could have listened to the Michael Saylor. I mean, you were watching it, and there were people that had the chance to watch it, and they're talking about Dogecoin. So that's the ultimate right there. That's just the ultimate. So I don't feel bad for these people. I mean, it's out there. And again, this is so repetitive. It's cyclical. We've gone through this before. It is a pump and dump. Some of the people behind it aren't. I mean, they're not even hiding the fact that it's a pump and dump. I'll get out here, they'll get out there. I mean, there is no. It's they're twisting it with the WallStreetBets thing. Like, this is the way to get back at the man. And look, the richest man in the world tweeted about it. So, David, what's your thought on this contrasting week, to say the least?
Remember when Elon Musk came out, it was like last year or possibly the year before, and it said he put in his bio CEO of Dogecoin?
Yes.
Okay, now this was a long time ago. This, especially in crypto time. Crypto time moves at like twice the speed of light, right? So, months here is like years everywhere else. So when I say last year, that's a long time ago. Doge kind of pumped a little bit. Not like this one. This one's different. And I think it's different because everybody is, you get like usually like if you, brush your arm up against like a textured wall, it doesn't hurt. But you take a spill on a bike and your forearms get scraped and you brush that up against a wall and it hurts really bad. What I think is happening is that the whole world, especially anybody had anything to do with that had any knowledge at all whatsoever about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or anything, was watching this Wall Street bet and they got abrased. And now when somebody like Elon Musk says Dogecoin, it hurts. Before they didn't notice it, but now they're noticing it because they're all like everybody was on pins and needles because of WallStreetBets, because of what they were doing. The reaction of the establishment at that point to them, and all of a sudden they see Elon Musk do this and they go, dude, we got to get in. You saw what happened with WallStreetBets. We got to get in. We got to do this. It's not a good chain. It's a joke chain. The only thing that Doge is good for is the fact that the people that made it hated Bitcoin so much that now they have to hate their own creation. That is the only thing that Doge is good for, except really good memes. Okay, that's a good one. But at this point, the fact that people are so, I don't know, not tuned in, but like they're so abrased that they're listening to Elon Musk and they're actually acting on it. Whereas before, everybody took it as a joke. Now it's different.
Yeah, you make a great point about WallStreetBets. If it weren't for WallStreetBets, no, this would not be going on right now.
No, it wouldn't. I 100% guarantee that this would not be going down had it not been for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about WallStreetBets too. I don't think it's changing. I think that the fund managers, they will adjust, and such attacks will not be very successful in the future. And this one's not very successful in the long run. The people who bought into WallStreetBets to beat the man, not many of them are going to end up beating the quote unquote man there. And just the worshiping of Elon Musk. I can imagine he's a very busy man. he probably, he went on the Twitter and he just wrote Dogecoin real quick or whatever he did. He did 3 tweets about it, and then he went back to whatever he's doing. They don't understand. They're going to be part of the joke, the people that buy into this. Dogecoin's a never-ending joke, and let it be a never-ending joke. But they're part of the punchline of the joke. Now Elon Musk wasn't setting anyone up to do for that. I mean, he's very busy, and they just took him way too seriously. Way too seriously. All right, John, we've said a lot here. You're new to the show. Welcome to the show, man. High energy, as you can tell. Tell us what your thoughts. What's going on?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on the show, Adam. I definitely agree with a lot of the points you guys just made. I think, for the first part of all that's been going on is, one, I think a lot of people are just uneducated. They just don't understand what the value of Bitcoin is, and they see this fad going on with influencers talking about why they should hop onto this ride, this rocket ship that is Dogecoin. They're seeing these memes, and at the end of the day, it's human psychology. It is, a cent to buy Dogecoin. They think that, oh my gosh, well, it's only a cent. I can, get, tons and tons of them. And I think this kind of rolls back to one of the biggest underlying issues for noobs coming into the space in Bitcoin is that, people see Bitcoin at, 37,000 or 38,000 right now. And they say, well, I can't afford that. And they just don't have the education to understand that there are 100 million units called a Satoshi in Bitcoin. And so I think if we could actually make Sats the standard across exchanges and do a better job of educating people that you can get a lot of Bitcoin for $1, $5, $10, that it would actually alleviate some of these problems of these pump and dump schemes and meme coins like, Dogecoin. So that's kind of my view on it.
Yeah, making the Satoshi the standard out there, it might, for some people it will help. For some people, it will help. I don't know. For other people, it might just end. It just might be a little bit more, make it more complex. I don't know. But yes, you bring up the point of unit bias, and I can't afford a Bitcoin. I can afford these penny coins. You also bring up the influencers, and I gotta say, I've been on TikTok looking around because I'm doing a project with a company called CoinBeast, and oh my. I mean, the TikTok videos about Dogecoin, it is unbelievable. But people pile on, and the algorithm picks up on Dogecoin, that it's popular, and it just keeps on spitting out the Dogecoin to more and more people. So it's these mindless these algorithm servants, Dogecoin is benefiting from it. It's amazing. But yeah, the bigger conclusion here is people don't use their heads. People want easy answers. People look to authority. And they don't. It isn't that for me. It's not that hard to watch and comprehend a video like this where I got 3 smart guys on there and just defer gratification. People cannot defer gratification. Dogecoin is the ultimate example of that. And unfortunately, I think, well, unfortunately for some people, this cycle is just starting. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's next. What other coins that we thought were dead are going to come back because they're less than a penny. All right. So this is something we're going to have to deal with. I want to everybody pound that like button, click on the links below, check out all these guys, and I want to go into Wall Street bets again.
Oh wait.
Yes.
I wanted Max Hillebrand put out a really good tweet about education today that I think fits in right here. So was it? Yeah, at very early this morning. He says, "I just got these questions from a peer 2 months down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. 1, how can I verify the address on my hardware wallet? 2, how do I reach my Electrum server through Tor? 3, how do I back up the script of my multi-sig?" Whoa. And then he goes on to say, this guy's 2 months in. 2 months.
This is a very smart person.
It's like, so Max comes back and to that tweet and replies to his own tweet and says, it took me years to figure out just to ask those questions. So there's for me, it gives me a lot of hope that education is in fact starting to take hold, and that, like all the things that we were just talking about, how important it is for education to come down the pipe. It's coming. All of us are working as hard as we can on it. It just, the space the space of, podcasters and people that are writing books and articles, it just keeps growing. And the more and more that we do continue to be persistent in that mission, the more and more people, it won't take 2 months. It'll take them 1 month. Maybe after a while, it'll take them a week. Maybe we can abstract away so much of it that they're not even having to ask these questions. I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily the greatest thing in the world, but abstraction not being the greatest thing in the world, but it certainly can help. I mean, this guy went from, where we were 3-4 years ago, this guy's like there like that.
Well, I got to tell you, we need, that's great. Max is dealing with some high level people there. Good job, Max. I need him back on the show again. He's very busy over there. But I would love to get some people having some fun, creative, simple 5-minute shows that just talk about unit bias and things like that, to get rid of some of the stuff that we consider easy. Obviously, people aren't grasping that easy stuff, a lot of it, if they're buying Dogecoin. We need to get back to the basics. And I say we, it's whoever steps up, this is personal responsibility is a new counterculture. I'm sure someone could make a profitable enterprise out of simple education for newbies. I encourage it. That's what I'm saying. And
Adam, before we move on, just to again add to this point, what None Your Business just said there is, I've seen it as well. Like the class for 2020 are getting up to speed so damn fast, it's unbelievable. And if anybody is watching that is thinking we're just talking a load of shit and Dogecoin is the thing, and sorry I said that S word, Adam.
Sorry.
But here's the key difference. Altcoins, let's call them that. Altcoins have influencers. They need influencers. Bitcoin has educators, and that is such a huge difference. And it's something you've really got to ask yourself: am I following an influencer or am I following an educator? And that is such a chasm in this space. And when you look at people like Breedlove and Parker and Safe and all of their writing, these aren't trying to influence us. They're trying to educate us, and this is what this show is trying to do, and this is what my podcast and None Your Business and John's enterprise is trying to do as well. We are in the education space. We're not influencing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Daniel. I think one of the things that really drives me nuts about some of these influencers are they try to pump a lot of illiquid coins and, that don't have, a lot of the ability. But all they do is they show the amount of percentage that these coins can obviously pump because they're not very liquid. And everyone just cites, the percentage gains. And look, it doesn't, Bitcoin doesn't go up as much as a percentage, but they don't realize the implications of why that is. And I think a lot of it is under, financial intelligence, and there's kind of like a lack of understanding of why it's pumping so fast or why some of these things occur. And so I think you're exactly right. The education part of Bitcoin is crucial for us to continue to have, and not necessarily influencers. So just to your point.
It was a beautiful point. Influencers versus educators. Unfortunately, in the cryptocurrency space as a whole, there are many more influencers, unfortunately, and you have to take the time and understand the difference between an educator and an influencer. It's a really great point. It really sums up everything. All right. Anyone else have anything to say about this Dogecoin thing before we move on to a similar subject, the WallStreetBets here. All right. So first of all, in the chat, GK sent $9.99. Thanks. He says, everyone move to Miami. It's great down here. Oh, dude, we'll be talking about that later in the show. I'm in Miami right now. I think John has interest in Miami, and Bitcoin Magazine is going to have their event in Miami. So there's a lot of moving down to Miami that's going on. I mean, it is free and beautiful down here. And when California is moving to Miami, you're in good shape. Okay, so let's get back to we will get back to the Miami, and thank you for the support, GK, and everybody in the chat. We'll go to David Bennett on this. Did WallStreetBets accomplish anything? Did these guys get back at the man? Was it predictable? And what's next for them?
God, this thing is a mess. But okay, like to your first question, did they accomplish anything? Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And but let's address the other things. Is it long lasting? No, clearly not. They're getting washed out, man. And I was thinking before the show started, and I was kind of like trying to get my thoughts around this. I still can't get my thoughts around this, so I'm going to sound like a lunatic probably, or somebody who really doesn't know what they're talking about. But there's something about that's going on that if you just look at it on the surface, it's a circus and it's bad. And these people are definitely going to lose a lot of money. There's a lot of people that did the same thing that they did with altcoins by mortgaging houses. Suicide hotlines are going to go up on Reddit. I mean, we're going to see the whole cycle begin again that we've already been through 3 times, something like that, with the whole suicide hotline of people buying altcoins. But this time it's with stocks. So from that standpoint, no, they didn't do anything, except that they kind of did. They had the entire Earth, the entire planet of Earth, and all of its financial infrastructure was like, wait a minute, what is that? Now, when you do that, there's something there. Something happened. Now, is it good or bad? I don't know. I don't care. It's that something happened. Right now, that subreddit comprises, as of yesterday, 8.5 million people. That's larger than the population of New York City, which is standing at 8.4 million right now. They're probably at 8.7, right? So one of the other things that happened, aside from the fact that they did activate a monster, okay, it happened. And what I mean that is, like, not only did they poke the bear and the bear woke up and started getting angry, i.e. the financial systems, the financial infrastructure, Yellen wouldn't be asking for an ethics waiver to talk to these people, not the Redditors, but like she wants SEC, she wants a bunch of other people. She got paid by Citadel, who's the elephant in the room on this whole thing. So she has to apply for an ethics waiver from the Justice Department so that she can have those talks, because she got paid and she's talking to the people that paid her, or at least talking about them. That's poking the bear. So that was effective. Now, the other end of this is that they mobilized a whole bunch of people. If it happened once, it can happen again. On a third, the subtext of all this is how it broke down, because it did break down. They had wild momentum. And then the next thing you know, it just all starts going south. AMC enters the picture. Bloodbath and Beyond enters the picture. A whole, like, BlackBerry enters the picture. Was that started in that particular subreddit by the people that were trying to do this? Were they really trying to target all of these at once? Were they outside influences? Because we don't know. We can't really tell. But there was the example of having infiltration come down into something like this is the aspect of the whole silver squeeze that started at the beginning of this week. And there was a whole bunch of talk about how WallStreetBets was now going to go after silver. Well, a couple of people looked into that subreddit and they were like, I can only find 3 references to silver in the top 50. And all of them are telling everybody to stay away from it because that's not the one you want. These are not the droids you're looking for, pal. But even if you subtract silver, if you subtract the whole issue of silver from that situation, it does seem like they were going, well, if we can do this to these guys, then let's do it to AMC and Bloodbath and Beyond and all the rest of them. There's no focus. And if there's not going to be any focus, then this group is destined to bang their head up against the wall, because what they're going after is so immense and so huge that at the very end of this entire story, just buy Bitcoin, because it squeezes the whole world all at once.
I love that conclusion. Found that like button, but you did not sound like a crazy man. First of all, you really put it all out there nicely. I thought, yeah, they did wake up a lot of people. So that was something that was accomplished. Is it being infiltrated? Of course it's being infiltrated. I mean, this is a game. If these dudes at the big funds, if they can, they'll take advantage any way they can to win. So, I mean, that's part of love and war here, okay? To add confusion to the situation. And yeah, the silver thing was ridiculous. I mean, so it's a moment in time we will remember, just like how I think everybody remembers Occupy Wall Street. But I don't know. It won't be able to really be replicated on the same level. And we have people trying to replicate it in Dogecoin. So it's really already deteriorated quite a bit. Daniel, what are they saying on the other side of the pond here?
Pretty much the same. It's, I see it ending in tears. Already has started ending in tears. I just checked GME. What is it? It's at $63 now, I think. Yeah, $63. And what was the high? 330, 338, something like that. So, my God, yes, you had that initial euphoric win when Melvin were going under and, filing for bankruptcy for 1 minute and then bailed out by Citadel and whoever else the next. And then Robin Hood, like, this is the most disgusting part of the whole story. Robin Hood just manipulating the market, saying, right, you can only sell, and then taking it one step further and closing out positions on behalf of their clients for their own protection, in air quotes, which some people were getting stopped out after it crashed all the way back down to the bottom. It's just, if nobody sat up and saw through how the stock market in particular is completely rigged, there's no other word for it. Let's stop dressing it up. And for those people that are thinking I'm talking complete nonsense, it's rigged. It's rigged in so many different ways. It's rigged when they print cash. It's rigged. When they print money, the stock market is rigged. It's going up. But now you have the apps that for retail investors, which, by the way, when you use these apps, you're being front run. Every single order you're putting on, you're being front run, because that information gets sold off to bigger corporations and they front run these big orders. So they were still winning. Wall Street was still winning. They still had the jump on this. And there was another one. There was another one or two of these apps that just closed down and did the same thing, sell only or stopping you out. And then even if you had some, I think there were some big guys. Was Elon part of this as well? And Chamath, were they pumping this?
Somebody mentioned, they mentioned in their tweets like support for it. Okay, like
right,
yeah.
But these guys that the big whales, whatever, they're not using Robinhood, right? They're using a prime brokerage. They've got a direct line to Goldman or Deutsche, whoever they need, and they're gonna be in for the fun of it and out at the top. They're not getting stopped out. They're not getting margin calls. So they would have made a boatload of cash. But now these guys, they're left holding the bags. And Robinhood, I see, has announced that they've opened up again today so people can start trading, and it's jumped again. I can't believe people are doing it. It's like, guys, don't fall for it. And just buy Bitcoin. Like that's all you need to do. Like, you're still, by doing this, yes, you're making a point, but you're still playing the fiat legacy system.
Now, by the way, when you say just buy Bitcoin, some people that are at Robinhood might actually do that and buy it through Robinhood. That's not what we're talking about, because you're going to learn the same lesson, that they can stop you or they can take it away. These when you're dealing with these third parties, they've got all sorts of rules and regulations that you signed on to. You might not even realize. You probably don't realize that they can take away what you think is yours, and you really understand what is yours when you control your own Bitcoin private key. So, John, your take on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much more to say. I think Daniel extremely well said on everything you mentioned. I think has, outside of the amount of money printing that's occurred over the past 10, 11, 12 months, I think this might have been the single largest red pill for the retail investor to realize that the game is rigged against you. It's not here for you. It's here for others. It's here for the elite. It's here for the funds. It's here for people with direct connections to government. And if anything, this just goes to show people why Bitcoin is important. It's because it's not controlled by any specific system that is specifically looking to and I don't want to say this in a bad way, but looking to screw the retail investor. There's a great article that came out by Vanity Fair yesterday about Arthur Hayes, and talking about how they've indicted him and on all of these different charges for not having the proper KYC procedures in place. Well, what about the KYC procedures that HSBC and JP Morgan and Citibank have had over the past 20 years, letting cartels, filter money throughout the entire system? There were no indictments or specific, arrests for Jamie Dimon or any of these massive firms. But as soon as somebody outside the system does it, like an Arthur Hayes, man, they're going to come after you with everything they possibly have. And it just goes to show you need to have Bitcoin, you need to own it yourself, and you can't have any third party holding it for you. So that's all I'll say on this.
All right, this game, Bitcoin, this game is not rigged. That's one of my sayings here. Pound that like button's another one. And before we move on, we're gonna keep it here. Before we move on from this topic, does anyone else have anything to say about Robinhood? All right, so John, we're keeping it with you. Senate passes key procedural step to allow Democrats to pass virus relief without threat of a GOP filibuster. So this just came out today. That means more money printing. We're going to get checks, and everyone's going to get a check here in the United States. Companies, people, it's going down, baby. And it was pretty predictable. So what's your take on that situation? And is it good for Bitcoin? And how do you see this progressing?
I mean, I personally see it as kind of a scary time. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at what's happened with money printing since the financial crisis and the end of it. And I don't know if there's any turning back now. I don't know if they can stop, printing money at all. And now I don't know if they can stop printing money directly to people. The wealth gap and disparity that's being created as a result of the Cantillon effect, and that money is going to eventually rise to or get to the corporations and not down to the individuals, that they can actually make investments to see, assets rise in the markets, is going to create a significant type of socioeconomic issue. I think it's going to create a lot of pressure in the markets, depending on which way you look at it. And for people who don't know exactly how much money has been printed, I'm pretty sure it's something ridiculous like over 200% of all money that's been printed, in the past 10 years, it's up to 200% more money over the past couple of years than it has been the first 200 years of the United States. So at the end of the day, the value is going to continue to go down in purchasing power. Bitcoin is an incredibly important asset to have. And, everyone who doesn't know a lot about Bitcoin as it relates to, the dollar, and they say, well, isn't Bitcoin risky and it's so volatile? I mean, I think that you're now at a point where you're being financially irresponsible to not learn about Bitcoin and being able to have at least a little bit of an investment into it. So, I don't want to steal the floor here, so I'll pass it off to Daniel or somebody else on the call. So,
all right, very good. David, I wanted to go to you next because you have been talking about the U.S. dollar dam is breaking. So this is another break in the dam, right? If they're going to be printing, giving us some more checks here. I mean, is UBI on the way? I mean, John. I mean, you almost were saying that UBI's. You were implying that the money printing has to keep on going. But what do you think, David Bennett?
Yeah, UBI is going to happen, and this is the way that they ensured that it was going to happen. At this point, I don't see any way out of it. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea by any stretch of the imagination, but there's what is and what is not. And what is these stimulus checks that are being printed directly to people are going to continue, but it's going to be in the form of some kind of UBI. As to whether or not they actually name it that is to be decided. And honestly, I don't care. It's all the same thing. But there's no way to back out of this. There's just not. I don't. The debt to GDP ratio of almost every civilized nation on the planet is not faring very much better. Maybe Switzerland, Austria, something like that. But I mean, for the people that have large sailing fleets of fighting vessels, no, there's no going back. It's too late. And I don't know what else to say about that, honestly.
Well, you bring up a very interesting point. It's happening in all the other countries.
Yeah, it ain't just us.
So the dollar can still remain king of the fiats, can it?
Yeah, and what this does is indenture you to the powers that be. And I don't, I could tinfoil hat this all day long as to why somebody would want to control. That's actually a question that I always ask myself is when somebody says, well, they just want to control you. My answer to myself is always, yeah, but why? I don't want to spend my day trying to control you, man. I want to go fishing.
To get votes. That's all. So they can have power. I mean,
it's just, but see, that's what I'm saying is like, go for a walk with your lady on the beach. Stop wrestling with the power. I mean, these people some of these people, I could see them actually being awake for 14 hours a day for the last 5 years because they're worried about how to maintain control. And I'm like, well, what are you maintaining it for? At the end of the day, you're still going to die. I mean, you're going to end up being worm food. And if you're on your deathbed and all of a sudden you realize all the time that you wasted trying to control other people for whatever reason you want to control them for, what a waste of life.
I don't know if sociopaths and psychopaths think that far ahead.
I think, well, that is right. And I do view these people as sociopaths. Honestly, there's no other explanation. But getting back to the money, yeah, there's no going back. I think we're gonna end up with UBI. I think without saying any particular word, this particular time that we're in revolving around certain biologies, I don't know. Maybe it was like, was it constructed to do that way? Oh, I don't even want to get into that. It doesn't even have to be. Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Never let a good crisis go to waste is definitely. I mean, you don't have to worry. You don't have to go put tinfoil hat on for that. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And lie. If you're a sociopath, it continues in the lies. I mean, AOC. I mean, the things that AOC. I mean, we can't even say the things that she says. Where she was on this date, and tying it into other things that might have happened in the past. The lies to get sympathy, to get more power. To get more power. It's unbelievable.
But the memes that are coming out of that whole thing are priceless. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, but we cannot say the words. You even describe what it's like. It's unfortunate. Like,
right.
As she wanted people to tell, like she was lying, and people called her out on her lies. And then she told her social media followers to report those people, to be snitches. Yep. That's the type of people. I mean, I could, and she's praised for telling people to be snitches. That's the world we live in today, where snitches and victims are the ultimate. But it's a shame we can't talk about the specifics of what the stories she put together, combined. And if something bad happened to her back in the day, that's bad. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. But to combine it with something that didn't happen in the present. Anyway, we went off on a rant without specifically saying what it is. You guys can look it up yourself. Ben Shapiro on his show on Thursday talked about it beautifully and in a very beautiful way, in a very nice way. Also, he gave her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so Princey, we'll go to you on the money printing here. What's up? Yeah, I mean, are we going to have UBI in the United States? Do you care? Is the British pound, will that be printed to oblivion also? Do you care?
Yeah, well, when the US print, everybody prints, right? You enter into a currency war straight away because you enter in this race to the bottom to try and keep up with the US devaluing their dollar, so that the imports and export balances of other countries that are dependent, because everything's settled in the US, right? Everything, if Singapore sell oil to the Philippines, that still gets settled in US dollars. So this ripple effect around the world when the US just print all of this cash, it is just incredible. But one point on UBI, I know a lot of people are going to be dependent on it because of their businesses have been shut down. But it's not a good thing. It's really a bad thing. And just one example, the amount of small businesses that have been affected by this, that haven't been able to stay open during these times, if they can find a way to reopen, they are now in direct competition with the US government and competing for labor. If you're sitting at home and getting cash mailed to you and dropped in your mailbox or into, God forbid they bring out a CBDC, then you're potentially going to be earning more for doing nothing than actively going out looking for work. So these small businesses are going to get squeezed, even if when they can open. If UBI is going out, the small businesses, the mom and pop stores, the entrepreneurs, they're really, it's bad news for the economy. It just doesn't work. You can't just give people money.
No, you can't, and it's being directly deposited into their bank accounts, so they don't even have to get off their tuchlis on the couch and go to the mailbox. It gets right into there. So yeah, the people who want to hire are going to have a hard time hiring people if they're allowed to open again. A very good point that you bring up there.
Yeah, I mean that's the trifecta right there. So it's not only like, hey, if you're allowed to open up again. Oh, and by the way, when you do decide to reopen, we're going to make the minimum wage $15 too. So good luck, small business.
I would say pound that like button if you're against the freaking minimum wage. My God. But yeah, there's going to be a $15. I mean, they don't even think it out. A national $15 minimum wage in some of these states, I think like in Mississippi, you're doing pretty well if you're making $15 an hour. So they're going to put all the small businesses in Mississippi are going to go out of business now if they're forced to have a federal $15. I mean, it's not even thought out. It's just $15 is arbitrarily picked, just like the $2,000 check number was arbitrarily picked. It's all marketing. It's what gets the normies excited. It's short-term thinking, and it's here to stay. So you can complain about it, or you can compete with Bitcoin and not have to worry about being in the fiat regular world, okay, and trying to fit in with the fiat people. Bitcoin's been very, very good to me, and it should be very, very good to everyone once the UBI or whatever they want to call it comes our way. Do you guys have anything else to say about UBI, money printing, et cetera, et cetera?
This is my UBI.
I didn't see what you. I got a different screen. What did you hold up? What was it?
Cold card wallet.
Oh, pound that like button, people. Yeah.
Shout out to Rodolfo.
Absolutely, man.
He's been on the show before, and I met him in person in Canada. All right, I wish I could go to Canada now, but I mean, we're living in these times. You can't even go to Canada anymore. Okay, so we got a guy in the chat that is called, I don't know if I can say his name. He named himself after the former president of the United States, number 45. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that anymore. He says, BitcoinMeister, I lost big with silver calls. Oh, God, man. I know better than to play the rigged stock market game. Back to BTC only. Okay, you learned the hard way, dude. The silver stuff was being promoted by somebody over there. I want to do a quick round robin here. Dude, and person who put that in there, that named yourself after the previous president, you've heard me talk about silver before. You know that I want to vomit when I hear about all these silver stackers and stuff. I think it's so old-fashioned and just nonsense and just like not part of the modern world. I mean, it's so hard to. I mean, once the price of silver pumped, by the time you tried to dump it at your dealer, I mean, was he even paying that much? Who knows? So what are you guys' thoughts on precious metals? Real quick, we'll start with John.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think traditionally metals have been around for so long, it's kind of hard for me to bash on them. I just think that now with Bitcoin, kind of the game has changed. I think it's kind of it's the narrative is it's like Bitcoin is for younger people who are much more digital, and precious metals that are hard to move, that you can technically find more of in the earth, is just something that I think is not as appealing to newer age generations. So it's not that I have anything against gold. I just think that Bitcoin is a better asset than gold. And so that's kind of really all I have to say about it. But I'll pass it along.
Daniel, precious metals.
Name me one that's going to 10x.
Exactly.
Right.
David, precious metals.
Gold needs Bitcoin so it can have a reason to exist, having some electrical conductivity so it can play a small role in relaying transactions from one person to another person halfway around the world is the only reason for gold to exist. Honestly.
Right. There you go, people. Gold is old is what I say. I don't know why anyone I think there's like this doom mentality. These guys who have thought the world is going to end for many, many years, they just can't give up on their gold and silver. Yeah, I think you should.
One more thing.
Right. Yes.
One more thing. It should be noted that as of right now, Bitcoin market cap is staring square at the face of what, $700 billion?
Yes.
Total above ground gold market or silver market cap is 1.4 trillion. We're about halfway to seizing, 50% of silver's market cap. We got 6% of gold's as of early this morning.
I never thought about that. But I care so little about silver. I never made that comparison because Bitcoin is one day closer to $1 trillion market cap, and I guess it's one day closer to a $1.4 trillion market cap, and it's closer. I think of it. Bitcoin's better than any company out there, and Apple is worth 2.1 trillion. Apple is worth more than silver. Come on, dudes. Why is anyone needing the silver? Okay, here's another question. Here's another question out there. I don't know if this guy is tricking me into saying something about altcoins, but he paid $5 Canadian. Vapor Smooth. I don't exactly know what you're talking about, but I'm going to read your thing. It says ample fourth or benchmark protocol. Does anyone know what that means?
I've heard of Ampleforth, but I can't remember for the life of me what it is.
Ampleforth or benchmark? Does anyone know what he is talking about? And Vapor Smooth, you can clarify that in the chat, what exactly you're talking about, and I will bring it up with the panel. So you can do that right now. But for now, we're going to move on to another topic. We talked about Michael Saylor educating the CEOs and stuff beforehand and at the conference. Do any of you guys have anything to say about that? I know, Daniel, you said a lot about it, but David or John, do you have anything to say about Michael Saylor and his reaching out to and his conference that he had this on Thursday and Wednesday? All right, no comments from the rest of the crew. Okay, that's fine. He's doing his thing. By the way,
I just did a quick search for Ampleforth, and it's I can't say that word.
Okay, so, all right, dude, you paid your $5. You got me to say the words, dude. All right, Ampleforth. Okay, all right, moving on. Well, let's talk about an altcoin then, since I got fooled in the same one there. Ethereum has reached a new all-time high, and I think it can do. Let it do that. Let it do. The fees are unbelievable on Ethereum right now. They're also at an all-time high. And I think back in the day, some Ethereum guys used to love to say, Bitcoin had a scaling problem, a fee problem. They got their own problems now. And the Ethereum 2.0 apparently will fix everything. And hey, it's not a zero-sum game here. Ethereum could do well. Bitcoin can do well, whatever. But do you guys, David, you were moaning there. Do you have something to say about Ethereum?
Well, I mean, all the fees are basically driven right now by the whole DeFi and Yearn Finance stuff. And they just got hit again for another $14 million on, what was it? one of its DAI vaults, like YDAI via version 1, just got hammered to the tune of $11 million. And there was basically not two transactions, but there were $11 million came out of the pool, but somebody actually was able to make off straight up with this $2.7 million transaction. 75% of that block weight was the gas fees, which was 8.6 million in gas. This is why, and it's like people are pointing to this saying, look, Ethereum clearly has the edge over Bitcoin because look at all the transactions. Okay, how many times can I trade sushi for yam yields and fried bananas and go yield farm some other vegetable token? Because I don't know how to get it out of there except to straight up sell it for fiat and punch out. Because they say, oh, well, you can get loans. Well, you can't get loans for houses. You can't get loans for cars unless I'm just clearly wrong. All you can do is get loans against other tokens so that you can go yield farm some other kind of fruit, right? So the usage is coming from this very, very tightly wound. It may be a lot of people in it, but it's a circular economy of vegetables and fruits and assorted raw fish. It doesn't seem to have any external reach into the real world. It just stays swirling around in this whirlpool. But as the velocity of that whirlpool runs around, more and more gas, more and more transactions, more and more stuff is going on, except the translation for the Ethereans is see how good we've done. And at this point, I can't tell it. I can't impart to anybody how worthless this thing really is. That's what I got to say about it.
Whoa, pound that like button for the truth talk there from you. I mean, interesting take. Let Daniel, your take on Ethereum lately?
It's been my take for God knows how many years now. If anyone's watching and into Ethereum, go and check out what it means to have a central point of failure. And then everything just follows after that, because you have a central point of failure who can be coerced, who can be told to do something or forced to do something against his will, or can just be put in prison if somebody decides. And then the whole thing is just an even bigger mess than it already is. There's just, why run that risk? Why be? I don't get it. It's a big no from me.
John, John, you work for some pure Bitcoin people out there, so I think I know what you're going to say. But take it away.
I don't want to get too perverse here on my thoughts on Ethereum, but there's this big meme out there that F is money, and who wants to have money that you have all of these like protocol vulnerabilities? I mean, whether it was like the one that happened a couple of days ago, or like last year with DeForce, there's a bunch of just different like things where people have, their money staked, or their, if they call it money, is their Ethereum staked or wrapped Bitcoin staked. And then next thing you know, like your money's just gone because of a vulnerability in the protocol. I mean, I think that's the real key about Bitcoin is like, the code is a specific way in which you don't have to worry about losing your money in some protocol that is completely beta that was created in someone's garage last weekend. That's what really scares me about Ethereum just in general. And I suggest people stay away from it if they're from my point of view.
We're jumping around again. DeFi is ICO on steroids. This is just the beginning. You're going to be farming all sorts of stuff soon. So, people, it's not stopping, and the fees are only going to go higher. Let them do what they're going to do. We'll see. I've lived through the ICO thing before, and maybe something good will come out of it. David, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it was just a thought passing in my mind is that this is like a microcosm of the whole influencer situation with Elon Musk and Doge. You got the whole WallStreetBets. All of that is contained inside of Ethereum. Every part of what we saw over the last 3 weeks, you can shove all of that into Ethereum right now, and that's what it means. That's why it's where it is. That's why it can continue to run, even though starting all the way back with the DAO hack, all the way back to 2015, when it was first demonstrated beyond beyond clarity that it's centralized, and at any given time, a very few set of people can roll back the entire chain. From that point on, and the subsequent wallet hacks and the subsequent DeFi hacks, and it still goes on and gains momentum, simply seems to be a microcosm of, or a mirror image of what we saw over the last 3 weeks. But instead of 3 weeks, it's been 6 years.
Well, if people want someone to worship. They want Vitalik. I mean, he's and that's just the way some people operate. They love having. They think it's a good thing having a figurehead. It's a central point. It's a point of weakness having a leader like that. But there are people in Silicon Valley who love. There's no Bitcoin 2.0. There's no Bitcoin 3.0. But we have Ethereum 2.0. There's some people that love newer versions, updated versions, leaders. The text that can talk and explain everything. So there's compete. That they can do it their way over there. Bitcoin can do it its way over here. And and again, it's not money. It's not really trying to be money. It's trying to be this platform to do all sorts of interesting financially related projects, I guess. And by the way, Vapor Smooth, the dude who brought up those two things that I'd never heard of, ample forth and benchmark protocol. He says both are rebasing and pegged to different things. So a bit confusing, but looks like benchmark might be the better hedge play. Dude, I don't know what you're saying, really. It's very complex. It is very complex what you're saying, and a lot of people love complexity for the sake of complexity. That's why they like Ethereum. I'm a very simple guy. Buy and hold. So you can repeg this and repeg that. I will continue to buy and hold Bitcoin, and everyone could go their own way. It's been pretty good. The buy and hold thing for me, like it's really simple. Like I bought Bitcoin and I've never sold it, and now I don't have to work for the rest of my life, type of thing. But you can, and so it's like you could choose whatever path you want to go on. Sometimes they're very simple answers in life. Sometimes people try to overcomplicate. Yes,
it takes price volatility and converts it to supply volatility. What is it that you don't understand, man?
Dude, you can make things sound. There's complexity worship out there, and people go for the complexity. I'm not going to try to interpret the complexity. It becomes a different language, and people can have fun playing with that stuff. And it's a good way to market your product. Just make it so complex that no one understands. It's not even the people that are talking about it. So anyway, let's we're here at the end of the show here. I want to yeah. Well, we can keep on it's going to cut us off in an hour, but we'll keep on going after that. In 3 minutes, it's going to cut us off. So if you get cut off, don't panic, guest. It's going to keep on going. I got to do a little magic. But let's talk with John real quick about Miami. You're very interested in Miami.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think, over the past year, I've been in New York for over 10 years. I love New York. I think it's a great place. The past year has been so bad up here, in my opinion, that it really does, take someone to start to explore different areas. I've been to Miami a couple times over the past year. I can't get over it's like a different world down there. I think people are a lot more in tune to reality than, being sheep and just listening to whatever the government or officials want to tell you. And I'm very excited about everything that the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, is doing with this massive initiative to bring businesses and create Bitcoin, a hub for Bitcoin within the Miami scene. I think that's terrific. The fact that, a local municipality has put up the Bitcoin white paper on its site is terrific. So I'm very bullish on everything Miami has going on. SoftBank has a $100 million fund, encouraging more business to come to Miami. I think while certain cities, and states like California and New York are trying to shun small businesses and business from being here, states like Florida and Miami in particular are trying just to accept as much and prosper in these times while we're dealing with COVID. So I'm very, very high on it. I guess my one shameless shill for this entire talk is that, I work for BTC Inc., which operates Bitcoin Magazine. We're going to be hosting Bitcoin 2021 in June in Miami. I'm very excited about it. So for any of those who want to check it out, please check out the website. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, it's the 4th and the 5th, right? And hopefully I will be there. I've got my ticket because I was going to go to the one in California, and it keeps getting changed. But it's great it's not in California anymore. And yeah, New York is a disgrace. It is a disgrace what has happened for being one of the greatest cities in the history of mankind to being the land of the sheep. And not everyone's a sheep over there, but yeah. Who could have predicted this? Very, very sad. All right, let's go to Daniel real quick. It's going to cut you off, but don't worry, I'll save you.
Okay. My thoughts on Miami?
Oh, no, Miami. On just anything.
Well,
inclusionary thoughts. Anything
I'm
we
looking
left
at.
out?
I'm looking at coming to this conference, John. So that'll be cool.
Awesome.
I'm also hoping to get to a certain 100K party that might be going on around that same kind of time. Who knows?
Yeah, pound that like button. Hopefully, you never know. 6-digit realm. That would be great. That would be a great way to celebrate, indeed.
And I'm not sure. I wonder when the Ethereum 100K party will be. That'd be an interesting guess. But yeah.
Come on, Jitsi. All right, we're still here. Keep on going.
All right, Jitsi.
Somehow you're going to get back. You're going to get into the United States somehow in June.
Yeah,
everything that'll be allowed by June. God,
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping to bring the family down and do like 2 or 3 months, maybe more, and check out that whole area, maybe some other states, and head down. Hopefully, hit Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador. That would be a great place to go and check out. And actually, John, I was interviewing yesterday. This will drop tomorrow. Fractal Encrypt. We're talking about his amazing node, and I know he's going to be auctioning the 5th one. It's going to be on display, right, at the in Miami for the conference.
I think so. Yeah, that's going to be great. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, plug your podcast, definitely, Daniel.
Once Bitten. Thank you, Adam. Yes, for reminding me. Yeah, Once Bitten podcast.
He's linked to below, so he tweets it all out and everything too. So definitely follow him. And you really got a positive outlook on the international travel during the summer. I hope it happens. I'm not betting on it. I'm betting on visiting all 50 states. I guess not all. I can't go to Hawaii or Alaska either. What a world! Because I'm not getting that thing in my arm. I'm not. All right, so let's David. Really quick, David. Bring up your zombie hypothesis. And John, you can leave whenever you want to. I know you got to get out of here for your meeting. So
yeah, thank you so much.
You got to
Appreciate
jet.
it.
All right,
See you, John.
See
you guys.
John.
All right,
David,
David, quickly, the zombie hypothesis.
Okay, we got 600 zombie corporations, which basically means that they don't have any money and their revenue can't even match the payments on their loans. So they're still able to cut checks to employees. When you take 600 of these guys and you take them and put them on one side, and then you look at MicroStrategy and the 1,400 attendees and the institutions and or corporations or whatever that they represent, they basically represent a lot of companies and corporations that are solvent, have money, are able to make a play to Bitcoin. I have a theory that Bitcoin may be the nail in the coffin to zombie companies because they cannot afford to buy enough Bitcoin at this point to do anything for their future, because they will not hold Bitcoin in the future, and people like Michael Saylor and his companies and corporations will. Then the only play is that at this point is a real estate play on the zombie companies, because I mean, yes, the United States government could continue to subsidize these particular zombie companies forever and a day, and maybe they'll never go away. But with Bitcoin in play at this point, I just don't see them being able to survive very much longer, because so many companies that are well run, that have been well run, that are financially ethical, at least insofar as to themselves, like MicroStrategy, they saved money. They have a whole war chest and they threw it all at Bitcoin. And now you've got all these other people like the Stone Ridge guy from NY Dig doing the same thing. And he represents a whole bunch of other people that they want to do the same thing. These guys are going to be well positioned on the arc. However, the zombie companies are not. And when the flood comes, I see them just basically getting washed out.
It's zombie insurance, but you got to get it in advance, obviously. And if you can't afford it anymore, you're in trouble. I don't know if some of those companies that are listed as zombie companies, the general public probably will eventually be like, why is the U.S. government bailing these people out still? They'll probably be able to say, well, we employ people. That it can only last for so long. So interesting take on that. Bitcoin will become a bigger financial factor in companies' goings-ons in the future. So I do want to one final thing. We're in February now. Bitcoin on December 31st had never been over 30,000 before. Now it's been over 30,000 every single day since then. Yet we have people that are sad that it's only 37,000. I mean, what do you guys have? Any people don't have long-term memories. I think. Daniel, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's crazy to think. Where were we? Like 4 and change back in March of 2020, when we all of a sudden it just. I mean, think about those days. Even then, that's the beauty of the Bitcoin community. We were still happy. Like we were still, in fact, maybe even happier than we are now, because that just meant cheap sats. So for anyone that is upset, at the end of the day, the honey badger doesn't care, and it's just going to do what it does. Don't worry, hold on. This thing is going to 100K before the year end. So who knows?
Wow, we got a prediction out of you there. And it was March 12th. It was March 12th and 13th, which is now, we're getting close to 11 months ago now. That beautiful day where I bought 2 more Bitcoin over that 48-hour period. Oh, I do have fond memories of that. And unfortunately, there are plenty of people that got liquidated that day and had to sell all their Bitcoin. They don't have fond memories. And David, your thought on people's short-term memories, how they now they're disappointed by if it drops to 31K, they're in panic mode. Yet it had never been 31K as of 31 days ago, basically.
Yeah, time compression in this space is a real thing. Whereas, people in legacy markets they'd be upset of these price swings in 12 months. We see them in such short order that it's a different world. So, like, I saw somebody lamenting the other day. It's like, well, look, man, it fell from 40 to 30. And I'm like, dude, this is the same argument of going from 20, all the way back, all the way down retracement to 8 and then 6. And then you get the March, the March thing happened that goes all the way back down to 4. And they point at you, laugh and say, see, i.e. Peter Schiff. I mean, and then it shoots. It goes sideways, comes up, goes sideways, comes up, goes sideways. We have like this massive 3-year consolidation. It blows past 20, hits 40, comes back down to 30. And what I told people, I think it was like Wednesday on my podcast, was that all you really have to do is say, look, it went from 20 to 30,000 in a month. That's it. That's all you got to worry about. That 40K, that's just for people like Peter Schiff to hold on to like a life raft. That's all they have at this point.
The Peter Schiff 40K life raft. Found that like button. All right. Well, speaking about Peters, don't go Pete Townsend on those guitars there. I mean, I would like to smash some, but I'm just, who am I? Who am I? Who are you? All right. I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, the Disrupt-Meister. Thanks a lot, dudes. Remember, This Week in Bitcoin is every freaking Friday. Thank you, guest. Shabbat Shalom. And see you, everybody, later. Bye-bye. Have fun. Strong hand.
Bye.
All
See
right.
you guys.
All right, let me end it on.